And welcome to the News at Noon. I'm Doug Petcash. A major announcement today from Governor Brad Little. He's calling a special legislative session on September 1st to address what to do with the state's projected $2 billion budget surplus. KTVB's chief political reporter, Joe Paris, was at the news conference today. He joins us live. So, Joe, what does the governor say he wants to do with the money, and why does there need to be a special legislative session to work on it?
Well, to answer your second question first, Doug, they want to do this right now because they say that Idahoans, they're really hurting right now because of the national inflation. And that's actually why they had the press conference here this morning at a gas station here in Harris Ranch. The market here was the setting this morning for the press conference, kind of to drive home that Idahoans are struggling with things like gas prices and food prices. So to answer your first question, though, Doug, what does the governor want to do? There are three main things that the governor's office wants to accomplish with one piece of legislation that will be considered on September 1st. And I'm just going to read from these notes here. The big thing here is that they want to do a big tax cut for all. The governor's office says $500 million in immediate one-time income tax cuts, and that will also include some tax rebate checks, similar to what we've seen in recent years. The governor's office says that individual filers can expect to have about a $300 check, so it'd be $600 for a couple right there. So money going back to Idahoans. That was a big thing for Governor Little. The second thing it does here is ongoing tax cuts and also a new tax rate system. If the legislation passed, there would be a flat income tax in the state of Idaho at 5.8%. So you would get rid of all the tax brackets. All the Idahoans would pay 5.8% on income tax. Again, that's if this passes. The third thing that this aims to do here, it's really to shore up education funding. And this is something that has been talked about in Idaho for the last decade. Really, you can go back even more, putting more money into education funding. So the piece of legislation which combines all of these ideas, it includes this: $410 million total to Idaho education through ongoing sales tax transfer, which would be the single largest investment into Idaho public schools in the state's history. So all of this is part of one piece of legislation that lawmakers will meet on September 1st to talk about. We're not exactly sure if it'll be a one-day or a two-day session, but legislative leaders that I spoke with today, Doug, Democrats and Republicans, they say that they do expect some discussion and some debate, but most are telling me that they expect this to pass, and then we would start to see some checks going out as early as September. We'll have some more details, though, on how this all plays out coming up first on the News at 4.
Yeah, Joe, I was going to, let's dig into that just a little bit here. So this is something that they can enact and then put into effect right away. It's not something that would have to wait until the beginning of the next fiscal year or even the beginning of the legislative session. It just go right now with this special session.
So there are some intricacies here that we'd have to dive into. So the checks, if passed, the checks could start going out as soon as September. That 5.8 changed the tax rate, though. That would actually start on January 3rd. So there would be a little bit of different trigger in terms of what part of the bill happens when. But the most important thing the governor wanted to talk about is that if this passes, Idahoans could expect to start seeing money in their bank accounts as soon as September. Some of the other stuff, though, Doug, would play out a little bit later into the next legislative session in January.
Okay, Joe Paris, thank you very much, live there in Harris Ranch for us. We'll have more reporting from Joe on our later newscasts.